Denver Broncos and the Walmart organization up in Mile High. Okay, it all started. Well, they traded for Russell Wilson back in March 2022. In the summer, they signed him to a 5-year, $250 million deal. They gave him a whole bunch of money, yada, yada, yada. And then we get to this point. They hired Nathaniel Hackett, the second coming of Jesus, as some Broncos fans would say. And it was a brick of a season. They put up Ben Simmons stats, if that's appropriate to say.
Very appropriate. Good defensively, terrible at everything else.
I don't know what happened with Russell Wilson, but he put up some of his worst stats, even playing more games than he did in 2021.
Sensational viral Russell Wilson versus bathrooms count going for a long time there, where it was like finally in December he scored
16 weeks to score as many touchdowns as he has bathrooms in his newly Denver area mansion.
Yes.
And let's not forget him in the aisles doing lunges, stretches, or whatever.
High knees on the plate.
High knees. Broncos country. Let's ride.
That's true.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
I thought it was let's cry.
Yeah. For a while it was let's cry.
After that. And then they put up the dud on Christmas Day. Nathaniel Hackett gets booted out. They booted him out, and then Russell Wilson had surprisingly 2 good weeks to end the season, which I don't know where that was. And now we get to this point. Sean Payton is now the head coach, and he takes over this Denver Broncos team. And let's I'll click over here.
Okay, I'll let you do it.
Let's look at this, and this is their current roster right now for offense heading into training camp right now. Tim Patrick tore his ACL last year. He was out the entire season. He comes back. They signed Marquez Callaway from the Saints, which is a pretty good signing for a fourth receiver kind of guy in this offense. They draft Marvin Mims. I believe that's a kid out of Oklahoma. I mean, Josh will probably mention this in the comments in like 2.8 seconds.
Yep.
But what Sean Payton did with this offense, he really built up this offensive line and added some big pieces like Mike McGlinchey from the 49ers and Ben Powers from the Baltimore Ravens, signing up to top dollar money and solidifying and helping Russell Wilson maybe get back into what we saw him in Seattle. I mean, probably not on the way out, but those years before he had that tragic broken hand in 2021. Not sure what your guys' thoughts on that are.
I mean, you have to think that especially with Sean Payton, that Russell Wilson had at least somewhat better of a year.
I mean,
it can't be any worse, right?
I have an overall thoughts on how I feel about this team, which I guess I'll save after we do defense and we ultimately talk about how we feel the teams will do or team or whatever. But I mean, yeah, this isn't even a bad offense. Like looking at this offense, this isn't even a bad offense. I know they went through like 5 running backs or so last year, so that part is a little bit iffy to me.
They had Javonte tore his ACL in Vegas. Melvin Gordon said, "Get me out. I'm not here anymore."
Then who?
Marlon Mack was there. There was a couple other pieces. I have no idea who they were.
Latavius Murray. Yep, he was.
And they got
brightest spot, I would say.
Chase Edmonds too. They traded in that big midseason trade last year.
So I'm not entirely, like psyched about their running back squad, but I don't know. They struggled with that last year, and they went through all those running backs. But I mean, pass game. There's no reason this pass game should be poor in any kind of way, shape, or form. There's no reason Russell Wilson should be struggling for touchdowns. You have
to remember too, like last year, like Tim Patrick got hurt in like training camp, like immediately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even then, I mean, this is a deep receiving core. No, would you guys disagree with that? I mean,
I love every single piece of this. KJ Hamler, we haven't seen in a very long time. Lil Jordan Humphreys, he had some breakout games in New Orleans here and there. Kendall Hinton, I mean, the infamous last-second quarterback to start after every Broncos quarterback got COVID.
Yeah. And the NFL decided to make them play that game. So, yeah.
And then you also have Greg Dulcich who can catch and, block. I mean.
No, what are you talking about? That was their own fault. That quarterback thing was their own fault. They didn't listen to rules.
Yeah, they put all the COVID tracers in the corner of the room, and they're like, you know what? We don't need it.
Rules are rules, man.
We could have had Blake Bortles start, and I would have been the happiest man alive. But instead, we did not. I might make a what if video. What if Blake Bortles
What do you think about this offense?
I think there's the big question here is it all comes down to Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
there's talent. Like let's not discredit the talent. They beefed up the O line. They're going to get Williams back. He blew his knee out very early in the season. That was a great trade for me. Traded for him, blew his knee out right after I traded for him. So I think it literally comes down to Russ. Can Russ cook still? And I'm going to go with no. Great. I get Sean Payton has to come in and work his magic. At the end of the day, Russ has to throw the football still. So Russ has been in the league for a long time where I didn't think it didn't matter really who the offensive coordinator was. I hear all this talent they have at wide receiver. I got to see Russ do it. So unless Sean Payton can calm him down and enough of the, baloney that Russ has got going on here, I'm going to do high knees, middle of the thing, make it look like I'm such a big worker. I got to see Russ doing it on the field. Enough of the freaking shenanigans, and let's play some football here, Russ.
Yep.
So I got to see that, and that's where I'm going to talk about the Broncos. You got two words, Russell Wilson. On each team, Russell Wilson is for the Denver Broncos. That is literally where I'm at. I don't care what Sean Payton does. It literally comes down to Russell Wilson.
That's what I think the biggest impact for Sean Payton would be. And I'm not the biggest Sean Payton fan, but he's not going to tolerate that nonsense.
No, he already said, what is this whole your own office thing that you have in the not even close to the locker room or whatever? He already commented on that and said that's not going to fly. So I mean, it could be enough of an impact at a head coach that, hey, maybe the dude, cooks. But yeah, I really don't know. It's a lot of proving in the first 4 weeks at least.
One thing that really interests me here is they signed Jarrett Stidham to top dollar backup money. He's getting paid $7 million to be the backup right now.
He didn't have a bad last couple weeks.
Well, I mean, he almost beat the 49ers in that amazing New Year's Day game. I mean,
that's true.
Crap, he could have done it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's head over to defense.
Backup quarterbacks get top dollar nowadays. Did we not see the offseason here?
I forgot.
Got some money. Backups get money nowadays.
Tyrod Taylor is getting paid $12 million by the Giants.
Yes.
$60 million is just going
money
to quarterbacks.
Yes, money gets thrown around the backups, man.
And talk about money being thrown here, okay? Zach Allen from the Cardinals, really big piece here. One person that's not on this depth chart, and I think it might be their best pickup of the entire offseason, Frank Clark on defense. They really bolstered up that front seven again, and that's kind of like the Broncos, if you remember from Peyton Manning era and all that stuff. I mean, you got the back end, though, back then with Chris Harris and all company. But the front seven, though, I mean, they really missed that home run hitter and a Von Miller, and I think they're trying to re-get that right now with a very good outside edge guy. So bringing in, Zach Allen, bringing in Frank Clark. Randy Gregory, hopefully he's healthy and he's able to play this year. I mean, that would be a big piece right here. But also, they drafted Drew Sanders out of Arkansas. And then I like the secondary as well, though. Pat Surtain, Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, Juan Williams. This another good, just good. I like it.
There's really no excuses for this team, I feel like, right? Just there should be no excuses for this team.
They were bad last year. They were bad last year, man.
Yeah.
I feel like that also falls in the thing of, hey, you could be a really good be a really good coordinator and a really bad head coach. There's some people that are really good coordinators.
But I do think it was more than Nathaniel Hackett last year. I mean,
there was too many things going around, and then the new
shenanigans from Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
enough, dude. We get it. He should just came in the building. He doesn't have to prove himself like a rookie. Oh, look at this work I'm putting in, guys. Doing the high knees. Dude, people want to sleep going to London. I don't need your – where were they? Were they London or Germany? Either one doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't need you keeping me up, Russ, in the middle of the flight. I'm trying to sleep.
What
my guy, take a seat. You're going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback at some point.
Wasn't he doing the high knees after they left? They were coming back. Weren't that
No, it was definitely there.
It
It
was
was
definitely
definitely
going
going. It was definitely going. What when was the fire in the stadium? Was that also
That was like off season. That was like
after
March
or before?
2022. Like that was like off
Yeah, it was
season.
before. I don't know. It was just
That's like a year and a half ago.
it was like nonstop shenanigans. Whole team, whole stadium, owners, right?
Nah, like, literally though, Russ needs to stop the baloney and let's play football. That's literally this team. There's talent. And by the way, can people stop talking to me about Jerry Jeudy? I've heard about Jerry Jeudy for the past like 5 years. Can I see him do something first? The guy's done nothing. Like, sorry, I don't think Jerry Jeudy's all that. Heard all the Giants say, "Oh, we got to get Jerry Jeudy this offseason." For what? I don't think he's that good.
I think he's solid. He's also a number 2. So he's like
I've heard the thing of like you got to draft Jerry Jeudy every fantasy season too. No, he's not good.
I mean, that's like the Justin Fields of this season. No, you got to draft Justin Fields. He was number 4 in quarterbacks last year. Yada yada yada.
I think Justin Fields is going to be valuable.
Oh yeah,
But-
he'd be valuable.
Well, wrong division. Well,
I know we're still talking about a team with a B in its name, and it's an animal too. So
bums.
yeah, I don't,
this one will get mauled by the other one. So
yeah, do we just want to talk about what we think they're going to do this
Yeah.
year?
let me click up their schedule really quick here.
Yes.
So this is their 2023 schedule. I had to like triple check. I wanted to make sure that this was like the correct schedule and not 2021. And then
How
I'm just
there like
reading
not a
it.
day, a year? Oh, there's a year right there.
I know. I had to like triple check myself. I think the most valuable
I would
piece
have
of
the John Madden circle thing, like every announcer does. Oh, boom, right there, Will. Boom, circle line.
he takes this, he goes that way, boom. Okay. I think the most valuable piece here is they play Kansas City pretty early in their schedule. I mean, they play them 19 days apart, but
Yeah,
they play 19 days. They play them 17 days apart, but they play them pretty early. They've usually been playing them like November and December. Now they're playing
I'm
them.
not gonna lie to you. I don't see a lot of wins on the schedule. I see the same thing as last year. What?
I think maybe Sean Payton
Here.
can get them off on the right step, 2-0. I think they could go 2-0 to start the season. I think so.
I think so too.
But it starts really falling apart before that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I could see maybe 6-7 wins tops. I don't know about you guys.
So I'm going to bring this back up, right? From last year. They went 5-12. Division record of 1-5 is certainly awful, but understandable. And they went 5-12. So I mean, looking at this, I don't know. I mean, certainly there's Kansas City twice, and I don't expect them to win either of those. They got to play the Chargers.
They play Kansas City pretty
Minnesota,
every single year.
because they have a good defense. You can hang around.
Yeah.
I think they get 3 division wins. I think they
That's proven.
they clean against the Chargers, and they clean against the Raiders, and they split with the Chargers.
That was my thought exactly. You got because the Raiders are. We'll get to them in a second, but
Maybe they could shock the Chiefs, but I mean,
I was thinking about
Russell Wilson. Which one are you getting?
I was thinking about the Broncos a lot today because I did a lot of driving today. And I was just thinking that for some reason that was on my mind, like the whole car ride, because I knew we were doing this today. And I just thought about the Broncos a lot. And my conclusion that I just really came to was on paper and maybe a little bit logically, I'd love to say this team's going to improve and things look decent. Sean Payton, Russell Wilson should be doing a little bit better, right? But like my gut is just like I see them going nowhere up, like at all.
I think you're going to get high knees week 3, and you're going to lose the locker room again, Russ.
I want to say like Sean Payton can elevate them to the playoffs. I mean, he did that with the Saints after Katrina. I mean, he brought the Saints to the NFC Championship game. I mean,
all right, who's the better quarterback though? Drew Brees or Russell Wilson?
I mean, that was Drew Brees coming off a major shoulder injury. Like he couldn't put that
I'm
arm.
just asking, general for the group here. Drew Brees.
We go in like 2006 Drew Brees, like coming off that injury.
Peak and peak. I would choose Russell Wilson.
I pick Drew Brees.
I mean, they're both on their way down. Let's go there. Both starting to on their way down.
Maybe
So
Drew.
when was Drew Brees on his way down though?
Exactly my point. Russell Wilson, I don't think he's looked great the past few years, to be honest. So that's kind of why I'm going Drew Brees here. And what is he magically doing with Russell Wilson here? I don't 7 wins. tops, like max 7 wins.
I would
the
say
Raiders,
8
unless the
wins.
Raiders are a lot worse than what we're going to get to here coming up, and they're going to be that bad, then sure, maybe. Like I'm telling you, I think they're going to finish last again.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that good.
Especially in a very crowded AFC where, honestly, 11 teams probably have a shot to make the playoffs, but only 7
I think
get in.
this season will be so underwhelming for them that it's just gonna be.
I think it's going to be painful. I think they're going to be one of those teams that's like close, but they're never going to be.
That's my point. They're going to be in a lot of close games, but don't worry, they're all going to add up to losses. Like
The Broncos
they're
might
not
be a
gonna be
team.
good.
The Broncos might be a team that can just be like, okay, hey, you're on the doorstep of the playoffs. You're about to clinch. Nah, I'm beating you. Screw it. Like they could be like the playoff killers for some teams. I think that's what they can be this year, especially
I don't
down
know,
that
man.
back end.
What
Like
else can you do?
play the Chargers twice. You're gonna play New
Maybe when
England.
it's the garbage time of their season and they are not going to be making the playoffs, and maybe
Well, no, they could just crush other people. Like they could crush
but
Raiders' hopes, Chargers' hopes.
Because look,
The
at
Chiefs, they're just elevating their hopes even more.
back end of the schedule,
from
it
week
is
13 to week 18. There's some wins.
Literally from week 10 on, you could see possibly 2 wins.
Well, Houston, maybe one of the LA games, New England and the Vegas.
Cleveland, even maybe a little bit.
I had them Minnesota and Houston. That's what I have. I don't know if they're winning any of the other games.
I mean,
I get a division game they could win. They could win the Raiders. Like the Raiders could be a dumpster fire. Like who knows how they're going to be honest. Thankfully, we're getting to them next. But I'm not. I'm good. I'll pass on the Broncos, man.
yeah, 100%.
I think they're gonna be awful.
Like I said, I can say all the things that are on paper, but my gut tells me constantly just like, nope.
Yeah, you're going to be mediocre. That's what this team's screaming to me.
Yeah.
Mediocre. Not terrible enough to get a good draft pick and not good enough to make the playoffs. The worst spot you want to be.
Yeah.